Welcome to Hitman Box, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Now, I'm sure some people out there are thinking to themselves, well, Gervonta Davis is the next Adrien Broner. I mean, just look at his work ethic. Look at what he's done so far in the sport of boxing. He's an undefeated fighter right now. Of course, his opponents have been handpicked, but we're not going to get into that. We're not talking about that. We want to talk about whether or not Gervonta Tank Davis is going to suffer the same fate as Adrien Broner. And the reason why I'm asking that question is because over the weekend, he fought on the Mayweather and McGregor undercard. He fought a very outmatched opponent. He did get tagged up by the bum that he was fighting a little bit. But what happened before the fight is the fact that he lost his belt on the scales. What I don't understand is how his weight wasn't being monitored as they were preparing for this fight. You know, Gervonta said that he didn't want to make any excuses. However, that's exactly what he did do. He made excuses for himself. He said that he got a cold and it was harder for him to make weight. But what I actually heard was that he was out partying. You know, he was out partying for weeks before this fight happened. So clearly he wasn't taking this serious. Now, why would you not take a fight like this seriously? A fight on the Mayweather-McGregor undercard where fans were booing you because of your showboating. Now, some of you might criticize what I say because, you know, Lomachenko did the same thing in his fight against Mariaga, and I said the exact same thing. I didn't like that at all because both of these guys were fighting overmatched opponents. So why showboat? Why not just get him out of there? That's all you had to do, was just get him out of there. But yet, the finish to Gervonta Tank Davis's fight was slightly controversial because he did punch the guy behind the back of the head. But a win's a win, right? So let's move forward. Now, is Tank going to be able to make 130 or is he going to move up to 135? He did promise his fans that next time he's going to be on point. He said that he can continue fighting at 130 or he can move up to 135. I think he's kind of, I don't know, he's a little undersized for 135. At least when I think about him matching up against Robert Easter or Mikey Garcia. When I think about those two fights, I think overmatched. I mean, I can even backtrack and say, you know, what if Tank was fighting Orlando Salido on the undercard of Mayweather McGregor and he prepared for the fight like that? What do you think would have happened to him? What if he was fighting Lomachenko on the undercard of this fight and he prepared in the exact same way that he prepared for Fonseca? What do you think would have happened to him? He would have got his ass beat. Now, I'm not saying it's too late for him to get back on his shit. I mean, he very well could get back on his shit, and I'm sure Floyd's going to have a lot to say about it, you know, with him behind closed doors. Because I don't see how it's your job to make weight and you don't make weight. How is that your primary focus and you fail at it so miserably? Now, I'm a Tank Davis fan. I like Tank. I like watching him fight. But, you know, performances like the one over the weekend were just, it was terrible. A terrible performance, terrible fight. And, you know, it makes me not even look forward to his next fight unless it's against, you know, someone that it should be against. I mean, he mentioned that he's looking to go after the belts at 130 and 135. So, I mean, does that mean that a fight with Lomachenko is on the horizon? I mean, what are you going to do? He also mentioned that he's going to try to get his IBF belt back. I'm not sure how that works as far as him fighting for his vacated belt. I think Tevin Farmer is going to be fighting for his vacated belt. But, I mean, damn, I could even say, what if he was fighting Tevin Farmer on the undercard? Like, well, he probably would have trained for that a little bit harder, but because that's a real personal beef that they got. But as far as Gervonta Tank Davis is concerned moving forward, I mean, if he's not on his shit, if he's not focused like he was for this fight, then I foresee some really bad things happening to this guy. And I don't want to see that happen. I want to see him succeed in his career. But, I mean, you just bringing up, these are the same traits that Adrien Broner had, not wanting to take things serious, not training hard for your fights, you know. So This is just one. This is just one. Well, this is really the second time that this has happened because he really didn't prepare that well for Liam Walsh. But, I mean, he beat the shit out of Liam Walsh. But he had trouble making weight. So, I'm not sure what's next for him. But Tank is a fighter that's not going to be undefeated. Well, like most fighters, he's probably not going to enjoy an undefeated record for too much longer. You know, his fights are carefully picked out by TMT. We know this. We all know this. We knew this. But he got to show me a little bit more. I mean, I've been watching him for a little while now, and he's improved with each fight, but I'm just starting to notice a trend. Not training properly for these fights. When people ain't watching you, I know Floyd was training for his fight, and he couldn't watch you like a hawk like he normally does, but I hope I'm wrong, but I foresee just some bad things down the road for Tank if he continues on this path of not preparing for these fights. He gonna take a loss where he ain't supposed to take a loss. He gonna take a loss when he should be winning. So that's just food for thought, man. I'm just bringing it up, but I'm not sure. Let me know what y'all think of Tank or what he should do next or what's gonna happen with his career. Should he stay at 130? Should he go to 135? I mean, 135 that's gonna be a tough weight class, and you still on course to run into Lomachenko at some point because he's talked about moving up to 135. So we'll see what happens with Tank's career. I wish him nothing but the best, man. But that shit over the weekend was that shit was terrible, dog. That fight was awful, and you was getting tagged up by him too. And he's a bum. I don't care if he had an undefeated record. He was a bum, but Lomachenko also fought a bum a few weeks ago too. So I guess y'all are bum fighters, right? It is what it is. Like I said, drop a comment. Let me know what you think's next for Tank, and does he appear to be similar to Adrien Broner? I mean, the funny thing is, a lot of people are comparing Tank to Pretty Boy Floyd, but he clearly doesn't have the work ethic. A lot of these fighters today don't have the same work ethic. You can say what you want about Floyd, but he dedicated himself to the sport of boxing. A lot of these newer guys, they're not dedicating themselves to the sport of boxing. They getting in trouble with the law. Not training properly for fights, faking injuries, Keith Thurman. So I'm not sure what's in store for this dude. Clearly he could get back. I mean, he's young. He's 22. He could definitely pull a 180 and get things back on track. I hope that's what happens, but he's looking kind of bad out there, man. You can't be the first Gervonta Tank Davis if you take a loss, and if you take a bad loss, you get knocked out. Like you done, dog. Like you right now are being promoted heavily by Floyd. So what do you think is gonna happen if you take a loss? What do you think is gonna happen if you take a loss that you were supposed to win it? You know what I'm saying? Like you will be discarded. Like you just don't get it. You're gonna be discarded if you take a loss. Why do you think they're picking out his opponents so carefully? His opponents are being picked out carefully. I mean, what's there to lie about? We don't need to lie about that. We know this. I mean, why else would he go out for the IBF? Well, I feel like the IBF competitors are just, at least the rankings for the IBF, just for each weight class, is just trash in my opinion. That's just my honest opinion. But I don't know. Dude got a lot to learn. He's young. He has an opportunity to bounce back, but will he bounce back, or is he going to follow the same path as Adrien Broner, being compared to Floyd Mayweather, having everybody on your side? Then you're going to start taking all these losses in a row, and then we're going to talk about the rise and fall of Gervonta Tank Davis. Hitman Boxing, I'm out.
You niggas steady ignoring greatness. A pallbearer, what you need when I come undertaking. This hostile takeover by the chill hover. I got the blueprints, I really do this, so move on over. Stay in your lane, nigga, stay in your lane. You steady running at the guns, but fucking suck at the game. Ain't it a shame? It really is. My words evoke fear. I teach you lessons that'll have you breaking down in tears. Call me Joe Clark with a baseball bat. chaining up the doors, expelling all these niggas from rap. Cuz they kill your brain cells, son. How don't you see it? They steady brainwashing you and then repeating, but 'tis the season for chill waves. I bring about change, but not Obama, cause this nation I will never claim. I got my sights aimed at the top spot on the chop block.